with Baker Mayfield, there is a lot he still needs to prove from a consistency standpoint. Like, look, if you ask me athletically, who do I want? I want Baker Mayfield, right? There's just things that he can do in the pocket and outside of the pocket that Matthew Stafford can't bring this team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at me.
Bench Mob, they're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They rep a jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. Taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. You playing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tuning now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my butter blow.
I ain't seen from now.
Bench Mob Podcast. What's up, bro?
Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Ent. We back in person. It feels good, yeah. We back. Greg, Mr. Hot Takes Debate Your Mother Sins Mayor. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm in Chris's estate,
Hold on.
so I feel pretty good.
We can't let that singing slide, bro. We can't let that thing slide, bro. Because I heard a little crack at the top. He over there sounding like Chris Brown, bro. I just watched This Christmas last night, and he was going in back on that old school thing, but I don't know if that's what you was going for.
Oh, no, that was Tony Tone. It was good. Wow, smooth operator. Davenport, how you living?
I'm doing good, bro.
CJ, Cincinnati's very own. In your estate, how you living?
It's not in the state, it's a house. But I'm doing good because we're about to go get some days hot after this.
He's got cows running around the back of his backyard.
Hell no.
Teaching his kid how to ride horses.
It's like Yellowstone.
Right. It's like Yosemite.
It's Yellowstone in New Jersey, okay.
He said Yosemite.
I go hiking in the back.
Yo, I'm going to start off with this one. We don't have to go further into this. I just want to start off the show getting this out the way. And if y'all want to say anything on it, y'all can. BG is back home in the States. Shout out to Brittney Griner being back home. For all you ignorant people that was complaining, oh, Paul Whelan. Paul Whelan was in jail 4 years. Trump couldn't get him out. Biden couldn't get him out. Russia, they was on the New York Knicks time. They was not budging off of RJ Barrett. They was not budging off the Paul Whelan. Straight like that. Bigger issue. This boils down to me. The WNBA got to do a better job where their players don't have to go overseas. That's what it boils down to me. I'm glad Brittney Griner's back home. 9 months in Russian prison. Crazy. One thing Biden actually said right for the first time in I don't know how long. Yeah, she gonna have to do a lot of like getting back to normalcy.
Mental therapy,
because that was huge having to go through that. I just want to get that out the way. Little house taking care of what's going on in the house. If y'all had anything on that, y'all can add to it.
No, but she had to get back. I hear people saying that the trade was lopsided. They're talking about this like as an NBA transaction. They saying, I had some people talking about, oh yeah, this is like trading LeBron for Jared Vanderbilt. So it's just nuts. Like like in all seriousness, it had to happen. You had to bring her back. It's a foreign policy emergency. You'll have someone one of your own overseas, and it's not like she was there, for other purposes. She's not a Marine. She's not in the Army. She was just doing her job, and so I'm glad she's back.
I think too. There's misconception with the Paul Whelan thing. I mean, even I was a little misinformed when I was looking into it. But like, yo, what Russia's asking for him is crazy. They believe he's a spy, so they want us to release a spy too. They were asking for this guy Krasnikov who killed somebody in he's being held by Germany, but he killed somebody in Berlin, straight murder. And they're asking for him to be released. But obviously that's out of the U.S.'s control because we're not even the ones that are holding him, right? So there's been trades that have been proposed by the U.S. to get him back, but they're not budging on who they want for him, right? So.
No, why would they want him back?
Yeah, no.
Why would they want him back? Just like they wanted the Merchant of Death in return for Brittney Griner. Just think about Russia's a real life evil empire, bro. Like it's really crazy. It could be the end of us all. We were talking about random ass stuff every day. Russia, bro. This guy Putin's crazy. He wants the Merchant of Death back for Brittney Griner. For a basketball player, he wanted to murder someone who's like, really, bro?
I'm glad she's back, but it's all facts though. That was if we were looking at it in the sports aspect, America got fleeced.
Yeah.
America got fleeced.
We really released an arms dealer back.
But I think that's funny too. Before we go in, it's funny the outrage of, to me, it's fake outrage about it. That we released the arms dealer. You know, we're one of the most free countries when it comes to guns. So y'all mad about releasing an arms dealer when we have a bunch of gun issues here in the U.S. that y'all don't be as mad about, which is funny. Now y'all up fake outrage. Oh, we released a guns dealer, and what about here? Y'all don't. That same outrage don't be the same when 20 kids get killed in a shooting, when people go to church and they get killed while they're in service. Fake outrage is really what it boils down to. It just shows again how racist our country is, and it shows how much we have a problem with the LGBTQ plus community. Y'all either didn't like Brittney Griner being released because she's black, she's a female, she's a lesbian, or because she's a Democrat. One of those four things, y'all not rocking with. Because it don't make any sense to be upset for any other reason but those four things.
I will say this before we move on too. Like, I think there's also a lot of fake love now that Brittney Griner's home. Everybody want to act like they played a part in advocating for her to come back. I see hella celebrities posting that, like, oh, so happy to have BG home, but like, you ain't put out one tweet. You know, you was not advocating on her behalf when she was there in the first place. You just want to be a part of the movement now that she's home. And I hate that. I can't stand that. But I will say it was good to see her smiling on that plane. You know, when it was, you know, I don't know who was talking to her. They definitely had an accent, but they were just asking her, like, are you happy? And, you know, she cracked that smile, and she didn't know where she was going. She just knew she was coming home. So I'm happy for her wife, too.
Yeah, hey. One celebrity that probably helped make it happen was Vin Diesel. He posted he needed her home before Christmas. And she's home before Christmas, so what's his name? Dominic Toretto?
Yeah. He said Dominic Toretto.
Dominic Toretto.
Hey, real quick before we move on, put some context behind that Herschel Walker tweet that you sent. Because I was a little lost on that.
You were lost?
Yeah.
I would trade Herschel Walker black ass in a second for Brittney Griner.
Because Herschel Walker be talking crazy. They're just talking about the vampires. And
He's a Trumpian. He's a rampant Republican. I'll trade his ass in a second for Brittney Griner. Are you kidding me?
Literally,
That's a fair trade.
He ain't worth nothing.
Doing that whack ass thing.
He said that's a fair trade.
Type in Herschel Walker on YouTube and see some of this man's speeches over the last couple of months. It's the wildest. You would really think he should be the face of CTE. Like,
Yeah, whatever political race he just he's running for, he might lost.
He really has. He has to have CTE.
Yeah, we can just bail him out. We can just bail him out. And if that's the case, then I don't want to pick on the sick, but he's out here about to. He could win.
He's about to be in office.
He's about to be in office in political office.
I think he just
did he
whatever
lose?
race he was. I just saw something earlier.
He should have lost.
His son went on a rant for the votes not being where they needed to be.
Dang, that's crazy. Herschel might have CTE, but what happened with his son?
You pass that. It's a genetic trait. You pass it down. You pass it down. You hit your head hard enough. You pass it to your kids.
Over Irving Johnson syndrome.
Herschel Walker, yeah, definitely got some issues. But one thing you can't knock, Herschel Walker, great athlete, especially in college. Perfect transition. We talking about Herschel Walker in college. The college football playoffs have been set. The 4 teams in it is Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State. Did the committee get it right?
Probably. I mean, it's not what we wanted. Everybody wanted Alabama versus Georgia and then Michigan against Ohio State because that would be like the biggest thing in sports at that time. You got those rivalries, but like TCU, they lost one game. They didn't really do enough to be bounced from that top 4, and Alabama didn't do enough during the regular season to be considered for that 4th spot. I mean, you lost twice. You didn't make it to the conference championship. Thinking back on it, they shouldn't be in the top 4 anyway when you look at everything from that retrospect.
You talking about Alabama?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Alabama. It's not the same team that we've seen in years past, and part of the reason Alabama didn't make it this year is because they're undisciplined, right?
Yeah.
Like you look at the big games that they played. Their penalties this year have been absolutely insane. They played Tennessee, got upset in Tennessee, right? And they had 17 penalties for 154 yards. Huge game. You can't play like that, and that just goes back to the coaching. Obviously Bryce Young's with a new group this year, but that's not the only game they blew. They played Texas earlier in the year, had 10 penalties for 150 yards.
Did
Right?
they just win that? They barely won that game, or did they lose that game?
They barely
won that game.
won that game.
That's
They
like
started
the
off the
few-
season with some barely winning a couple games,
and then they lost to LSU.
That's
too.
one of the few games I
Right?
watched this season because college football's dog piss.
Yeah.
In terms of the talent level versus the NFL, I just struggle with it. But I
You're
watched
also
it.
scouting for the Giants.
Yes, what I was doing. I was watching Quinn Ewers from Texas. I'm watching the kid from Alabama to see what he's really about too.
Yeah.
He made some big plays, but their defense sucks. That's the biggest reason
Yeah.
why I think they're not a year. Their defense is horrible.
Do you think we're seeing
Even with that great player they have, who's might go number one, or I don't know
Anderson?
Anderson. If he even is still considered the number one pick, I know they were talking about him last year as a lock. Even with him, they weren't very good.
do you think possibly that we're seeing the age of Alabama's dominance slowly going away?
No, I think it has more to do with how many people leave year after year. Maybe we're seeing a change in recruiting. Not everyone's going to Alabama like they have been in years past because they're seeing that you can win at other schools that aren't Alabama. And when Alabama graduates such a large class of talent every single year, it's kind of like the development slows down a little bit, and it's hard to play. The camaraderie amongst new guys and things like that. It's hard to be dominant at that level for so long, especially when top talented players are now branching out and going to different schools, right? LSU's coming back into the fold. Clemson's been relatively good. People are going to Oklahoma and things like that. So
You didn't
about to
mention
go to
you didn't mention a big school.
people about to go to Colorado.
Yes,
people
but
are about to go to college. I'm talking about now. Bro. I'm
it's
talking about this
joking.
past
No, I'm
season.
saying like one of the schools you have to watch out for that's going to steal a lot of their recruits away is USC with Lincoln Riley,
Yeah.
and also having Caleb Williams there for even just one more year. The
Yeah.
opportunity to play with him for 1 year can win you a championship.
Facts.
Yeah, they said it's a record like 2,000 kids hit the portal.
Dude,
Yeah, 'cause
USC
that's the
is about to
biggest thing
clean
in
up.
football right now.
USC's about to clean up. I'm telling you, they're going to win. They're going to have the top recruiting class year after year. To go play in California for a team with all that legacy and history, playing for probably the second
Like
best
in
coach.
LA.
You're playing with the second best coach in college football.
Yeah.
Right there in the Lincoln Riley. You have the best quarterback in football, in college football, by a mile. No one's close. Like, that's it. Like, it's. I think that's where people are going to end up going.
And that's where I think probably you make, outside of probably Miami, that's where you can make the most on your NIL.
Is he in
'Cause it's a
California?
big market. We don't have, and correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have really in the New Jersey, New York area a good college football team.
No.
What? They've been
I'm
garbage
saying,
for
so
years.
The closest
The market-
team that's good to here is Penn State.
And the market
Yeah.
is huge over here in New York too. But
Yeah.
Rutgers has not been brought back to
who?
prominence.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what?
I mean, they try, but
They
it's
should let me
just-
go over there and play
they-
quarterback at this
They're
point.
in the wrong
They can run all
conference.
these
Right.
weird people out here playing quarterback. I can go out there and play quarterback for them right now.
Man,
I-
be careful what you ask for.
Does Georgia repeat?
No.
Who you got?
I
Why
think
is
it's gonna
Stetson
be a
Bennett
little
29 years old?
He's
That's the
25,
real
He's
question.
25.
Nah, he old as hell. That's what hell.
Yeah, he went over.
Yeah,
the
I'm like,
side.
whoa,
Nah, bro.
29. I didn't hear that.
Hendon Hooker's 25 too. So
And Stetson Bennett
I'm
stopped.
glad you
Stetson
said that
Bennett,
out,
he used to stop playing football and go to CDL or some shit, bro.
Because
He's gonna be able to play
CDL.
somewhere.
Tennessee would have been in over Ohio State if Hendon Hooker didn't tear that ACL and
Yeah.
they got upset by South Carolina
I
in
think
that
they'd be
big
in.
loss.
You said they'd be in.
Yeah, they only I think 2 losses
Yeah.
in there. That second loss was when their backup quarterback was playing against South Carolina and Spencer Rattler all of a sudden decided to go off.
So who you got winning? You said Georgia's not repeating.
I like Michigan.
I like Michigan too. Just from what I saw from that Ohio State game, like, Michigan has
Their run game is really
run
good.
game and they have decent receivers too. Like,
This is the first year I've watched because I watch 1 or 2 college football games a year, admittedly, and for some reason Michigan's always on. And this is the first year I watched Michigan where I watched their quarterback play and I was like, oh, he's not garbage.
No.
The guy they had before that, McNamara, never play football ever again.
That's why he got up out of there.
He is horrible. I don't know where he's going. Don't go to Rutgers. Don't go anywhere. Don't just don't.
I mean, this kid's almost only a sophomore. He's shown flashes last year because
he was my IMG. I saw him in high school.
They were trying to get him some playing time last year. That they would bring him in for some run plays and things like that. What's his name? McDaniels or whatever his name?
Oh, McCarthy. Yeah,
McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy.
Yeah,
he's actually really good.
Yeah,
he's really good. I think he has a good arm. They don't throw the ball a lot because they run the ball a ton. Big Ten football. Whack. That's whack football. But
whack football.
That's
the
bro.
Giants' MO right there.
No, yeah, for now, until they get them hands on one of them, Caleb Williams or something like that, then it all changes. But
I heard Daniel Jones is your guy.
Right.
It was a move.
3 years, $80 million.
What's your source? I wouldn't even. You wouldn't. That's not a deal you could be mad about.
3 years what?
3 years, $80 million. I wouldn't be mad about that deal. 3 years, $80 million. I'm not mad about 3 years, $80 million for Daniel Jones. That's a bargain. You guys there's an opt out somewhere in that deal too.
What's that?
Please. We're getting off topic.
27 a year.
Yeah, that's what for a quarterback in this day and age. That's nothing. You get up out of that easy, and they may not want to, but
you do that if you were to draft like Richardson and have him sit.
That's the plan. That's what I'm rooting for. We'll talk about that later. I want Anthony Richardson on the Giants. That's what I want. I want him to sit behind Daniel Jones, learn how to play quarterback, and then take over in a year or two.
They're gonna be sweating trying to make that pick because he's back.
No, they're not.
You know how the Giants
No, they're not, bro.
to possibly have a black starting quarterback.
You got Tyrod Taylor, black guys on the team. Why you can't have him?
He ain't never played a snap.
Yo, no. I
saw
think
how they had their pitchforks out when Geno took that.
that
spot
it wasn't about Geno being black. It was about the fact that they were replacing Eli Manning. I think that's really what it was about, bro.
I think if it was Philip Rivers replacing him,
I don't defend. I don't defend.
Well, it was his time. He had to go.
Yeah, I don't defend White. I actually agree with the move. I didn't want Eli to play anymore. I thought he was
I don't think anybody wanted Eli to play anymore.
Yeah,
It was hard to
Eli
watch.
didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah, it was. But I wasn't. I'm not gonna sit here and defend the racist behavior of white people. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is that the smart Giants fans like myself understood that the outrage really wasn't even about Geno Smith. It was about the fact that Eli had been getting replaced unceremoniously. They felt like it was just done it with no
It broke
taste.
his streak of how many games
Yes,
he played.
yes. It was about
and
that
he
stuff.
broke it.
Yeah, you got fun with that if you want to, but yeah, Anthony Richardson to the Giants. That's what I want. I want that real bad. That's what I'm hoping for. Trade up. They'll trade up if they like him. But that's a whole different conversation. What was I saying? I was saying something about Big Ten football.
He's entering the draft this year.
Yeah. What is that?
Anthony Richardson entering the draft this year.
Yeah, he's
He already
locked in.
said it.
And I'd rather have him than Will Levis. I don't think it's a close comparison.
He's gonna be a project though. Yeah, he's
So was Josh Allen. So was Josh Allen.
That's
And open up the Josh Allen playbook for him. Just have him run all the goddamn time. You know what I mean? Like, just do that kind of stuff. It'll work out. And he'll eventually develop as a passer. But I really am interested in him. I really am. I think it could work out.
This or that. More impressive start. We're talking college basketball. UConn at 10-0 or Houston at 9-0.
UConn.
Yeah, I agree with Miles because Houston's got a lineage of just being really, really good. I expected them to be 9-0. And they got one of the best players in the freshman in the country, Jarius Walker from IMG. Like I when they got a player like him coming in, I knew they were going to be good. Just off the rip. But UConn's impressive. I just didn't see it coming.
Is Kevin Ollie still there?
No. He's coaching overtime league.
Yeah, he left. But they have a couple big recruits there too. They have one really big kid. I don't know his name off the top of my head. Maybe Miles does. There's one really big kid they got over there. Like they're big. It's special. I just don't know his name off the top of my head, bro.
Dan Hurley. He's their coach.
Oh, Hurley. Yeah. So no surprise having some success, but that's more
It's in
impressive
his
to me.
bloodline.
Side
Right.
note: Dan Hurley's a Bengals fan. Seen him at the game.
You would know
year.
the only other Bengals fan in the world.
Houston.
See, he pulled up to the Jets game with his sons last year, rocking a Joe Burrow jersey.
That means
I hope he never shows up to another game then, because
That was the game we lost. Yeah. That was the game.
This or that better season. Cooper Kupp's 2021 season or Randy Moss' 2007 season.
What happened in 2007 with Moss? I need to hear something.
98 catches,
touchdowns.
1,493 yards, and 23 TDs.
Randy
Cooper
Moss.
Kupp's year
Damn.
was 145 catches, 1947 yards, 10 TDs.
Oh, Randy
Randy
Moss.
Moss.
Yeah.
And they were undefeated that year, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they saw y'all.
Well, yeah, of course. We're the point. That's I don't forget about that.
Because
And
he had
that-
like what, a 25% touchdown to catch ratio.
And the league wasn't as pass heavy back then as it is now too. So like it was harder to do what Randy did back then than what Cooper did last year, knowing that they're throwing to Cooper every drive.
Yeah.
Plus, he had
100
to face Revis a couple times. So
Facts.
145 catches.
I mean, they don't have anybody else to throw to on that team.
For the Rams.
Yeah.
Last year they only had Odell and who else?
And Odell came in. He
He
was
was
Van
getting like
Jefferson.
4 catches a game.
Yeah, I know.
Van
the
Jefferson
thing
still
with
look good.
Cooper Kupp. The thing with that too, right? With that, the 145 catches. I was looking at it. It was so many targets and catches though. If you compare the season, you compare other seasons, even like Justin Jefferson's season this year, Tyreek Hill's season this year, he was only getting like 10 yards per catch.
Mhm.
So it was a lot of underneath, a lot of.
He gets a lot of bubble routes. He gets a lot of screen routes. Like,
Exactly.
you know,
He's a technician in the route tree too. He wins.
Yeah.
He just isn't great with right after the catch.
Well, this is the thing. Maybe if it was a more, I guess, explosive, better long ball thrower than Matthew Stafford, we might see something different.
I think that was his MO. His whole career was his.
But you saw when he got to LA,
he
was
struggled. He struggled.
shoulder injury.
Yeah.
They said it was.
interceptions.
So it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of long balls going to Cooper Kupp. That's not. It hasn't been a lot of long balls going in that Rams offense period because they ain't got no running game.
Yeah.
When they first got there, Todd Gurley went downhill. All right, Todd Gurley ain't work. Cam Akers, that man fumbles the ball every 30 carries or something like. It's absolutely terrible. So you ain't got no run game. That makes it easy as heck as the defense. Like, all right, they can't run.
Right.
They know they don't trust Cam. They don't trust Cam Akers. If he do run, we gonna get the ball back.
They it's funny. Jared Goff had the perfect situation when he was there, and he just couldn't maximize it.
Yeah, because when it first happened, everything was flowing.
Oh,
Todd
God.
Gurley was at the top of
That team was crazy.
He was peaking. Aaron Donald, everything was going smooth. It was just like
Todd Gurley's fall off is crazy.
That's
It's
running
that
backs.
knee and bone on bone.
That's running
But
backs.
to be at the top of the top and then just be irrelevant
I think he's only like 27.
a year
He
later
retired, no?
is
Yeah,
crazy.
he
Yeah.
retired.
I want to go back to something real quick before we go to the next thing because you mentioned, this player's 29 years old. He's gonna get a CDL. Do you think, in general, and maybe more so on the basketball side, that these 4-year seniors should actually be more valued and appreciated than they are? Because if you coming out as a senior, they basically like, oh, you trash. Like you're definitely a second round pick. But we've seen, for example, the Grizzlies. We've seen OKC.
I think
We've
McCollum was a
seen
senior.
We've seen specifically the Pelicans. Herb Jones, that's a 4-year player.
Yeah.
Do you think 4-year seniors should be actually valued more than they are?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, everybody's trying to project like these young freshman kids into what they could be in like 4 or 5 years. But like those 4-year seniors, you kind of know what they're gonna be in the league, and the projection's not as high as what you get for some of those young guys. But like on a win now team, like maybe the Celtics or who else? A couple of these other teams at the top. Yeah, you go for those 4-year guys because you're trying to win right now. You don't have time to just develop somebody because then the timelines don't fit with the stars that you have.
I think it's a perfect marriage, specifically like for the Pelicans. Perfect marriage because those players are making impacts right now. They're number 1 seed in the West. Is it going to stay that? Probably not. But Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, from day one, has come in and made an impact.
Yeah.
And they're way more poised. You 4 years in college, even on the football aspect. If you 4 years in college, 3 years in college, you've seen a lot.
I almost
You've seen
wish
a lot.
more football players would stay the 4 years because you think about what some of these players, when they get to the league, obviously some are able to hit the ground running like Sauce Gardner right away, right? But like some of these young talented quarterbacks, they struggle, their first 2 years, right? Why not stay those additional 2 years in college, really refine your game, become a smarter player, not just like physically, but become a smarter player. That way you can have a better impact when you get to the league, and maybe you still have a bit of a learning curve because it's the next level, everything's a little bit faster. But at the end of the day, I think it's only going to benefit them. The more college play they get, the more in-game experience. And when these kids leave their sophomore year, they're only 20 years old, some 21. Like, you're still not necessarily learning the game, but like there's things I guarantee you haven't seen that you see at the next level.
This or that. Bigger concern: Kyler Murray's leadership or Trae Young's leadership?
Trae Young, I think. Well,
I'm gonna go.
That's not as easy. Yeah.
No,
I'm gonna say Kyler.
It's Trae Young. The answer is Trae Young. I feel like because Trae Young just didn't show up to work because he was upset. We don't know the whole story, but you know, for what it's worth, Trae Young has a longer history of winning, and he's done more winning than Kyler Murray has.
27 points.
Oh, no, Trae Young's gonna score whatever he wants. Trae Young is one of the best players in the
saying,
world.
like,
He can score whatever he wants.
He's still being productive.
Yesterday he made one of the best plays I've seen a guard make in maybe 5 years, where he came up a pick and roll with Capella. He's coming down. KD's coming to block his shot. It's during crunch time. He throws the ball off the glass, and you're just thinking like, you know what's happening as it's happening, but you don't realize he's thinking about it in real time. He throws off the glass, and it's an off the glass pass to Capella to get it there. Because the only way he can get that ball there over length. Trae Young makes plays that, I know it's not about how good he is at basketball, but he makes plays that just, he's special. He's really, really special. Like one of the best guards I've seen in a long time. But Trae Young's no more winning. Trae Young's no more winning than Kyler Murray. He went to an Eastern Conference Finals. Kyler Murray hasn't gone to a conference championship, and the guys on the team seem to hate him. Patrick Peterson said he only cares about himself, right? And he said that with confidence. Like, people are gonna back him up. So, because when they heard he said it, so yeah, I'll go with Trae Young. I mean,
You think Trae Young's the bigger issue?
I think Trae Young's the better leader than Kyler Murray.
That was your question, better leader?
Bigger concern:
bigger
Kyler
concern,
Murray's leadership or Trae Young's
I'm
leadership?
thinking about it. I'm just thinking about it in real time.
You think it's Kyler?
I think Kyler Murray's the bigger
leadership.
concern because
Okay.
people on the team don't like him. So it's more of a problem. As far as I know, besides John Collins,
Right.
that's the only person on the team that hates Trae Young. That's it, right? So I gotta go with and Nate McMillan. But
that's the thing. When it comes to that, I'm glad you mentioned that. It's like, bruh, Nate has a track record of knowing what he's doing as a coach.
Yeah.
Trae, respectfully, at the moment, they're like a top 4 seed. What is there to be beef about? Y'all winning. Nate knows what he's doing.
So let me ask you this: Do you think Trae Young has a problem taking direction from coaches? Because he voices displeasure for the last coach last year, and that was part of the reason that he got fired, right? And now he's beefing with McMillan. Is it kind of like a direction problem? Like, hey, this is my team in Trae Young's mindset, and he wants to do things his way. Because again, we see him still being productive.
Probably. It's just, that's for me. That's why this one is tough. Because like Kyler Murray, your teammates hate you. Trae Young as the point guard, my man's didn't show up for work.
One day, Kyler Murray's a series of
think
events.
about it. I'm dealing with Kyrie Irving, so I'm jaded. Kyrie don't show up work. Kyrie might not come to work tonight, or tomorrow. Kyrie just doesn't choose. He just doesn't come. He just doesn't show up. If he's doing this podcast, he just wouldn't come today. You know what I mean? So like,
or he'll be late like you.
Nah, he just wouldn't show up. I would take late for Kyrie. If Kyrie showed up at halftime every game, I'd take that over what he's done the last few years. He doesn't come to work at all. At least I show up.
As a point guard, though, it's like same thing as a quarterback. You're the leader of the team.
Yeah.
And outside of, like you said, John Collins, but it's been whispers of how he rubs people the wrong way. He kind of is like a arrogant little son of a gun. Like
I'm sure
and
he
I
is.
think that's where to your point, the thing with Nate McMillan is like he probably don't want to listen to nobody. And he think his stuff don't stink. I mean, he mentioned it last year, which was, I think, the wildest thing to say. He said they didn't really care about the regular season. That's easy to him. It's playoff time. So saying stuff like that, you're a little arrogant, you're a little off in your head.
Sure.
The regular season is easy.
I also think
he makes it look easy. He makes it look easy.
That's what I'm saying. When you average 27 points per game,
he is shooting his worst percentage of his career right now.
Yes.
Throw that out there.
I think that has a lot to do with shooting. Boils down to focus too, right? I personally think that he's unhappy in Atlanta overall. I think that he needs a new contract. He's not doing because all the players have to do that now with the way the contracts line up. Like you don't have to, but you make the most money doing
the most money staying.
So I think he wanted to leave. I think he's in the back of his head. He's thinking like, how do I get out of here? Right?
Probably mad at the barber that let his hair be.
He should be mad at his parents.
I can't.
It looked like a lollipop that fall on.
That second contract that those rookie superstars sign, it only works out like 10% of the time because De'Aaron Fox is like a rare example for working out. You know, Donovan Mitchell was an example, right? It didn't work out there. Most of the time, these guys want to leave. Jason Tatum, okay, it's going to work out. The Celtics are really, really good. They're the best team in basketball. He'll stay. But it's rare that it works out and you want to stay actually where you get that second contract at.
Is there a way you see him going to the Lakers or
No,
the Clippers? Because he just bought that $20 million Calabasas house.
You got money to spend. You just spend it.
For what?
right.
Like, you're not even going to be there.
No, and the summer will be there.
He gonna be in there in summer.
Yeah, they all go there in
parties
summer.
and all that good stuff.
Working out too.
Sure.
They work out too.
He works out.
Huh?
What's working out?
Trae Young doesn't work out.
No, I'm asking like what
gets
do you what when you say work out? What are you saying? Like
He gets up and down
all
the
the-
day and then leaves. That's all he does.
all
oh,
the
so you're
best-
talking about basketball workouts?
Yeah,
outside?
all the best players in the NBA work out in LA in the summer. That's all they
LA
do.
and Miami.
LA and Miami. That's the two
Miami.
spots. But the best runs in the NBA in the off season are in LA historically, typically, right? They got a bunch
lately
of guys out
Miami
there.
ain't coming on. My man's that be training John Wall, Michael B.
Yeah, what's that name? What's his name? I want to.
I forgot his name too.
I forgot.
We them ones. That's all I know. Like, we them ones training like they. And you could say at least he got something to prove, something like to back it up. Michael Beasley got a contract after being with him for a summer. John Wall got a contract. Now it's on them to actually perform because Michael Beasley is back in the States, back training in Miami, doing the same ones. I'm like, we the ones. John Wall still got a contract, but Mike, I don't know what Mike did when he went to China.
Mike Beasley might actually be off, like out of his mind.
Because Mike got a contract and Mike's back here. He might come on the podcast next week. Like he right back in the States.
I need security. I need security. I don't know if I trust that guy. Same proximity as me.
Kappa facts. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield can revive his career in LA with the Rams. Kappa facts.
Facts as a backup.
I mean, who knows what happens with this whole Matthew Stafford thing?
We're just assuming he's not coming back, which is interesting. You know,
He's not coming back for the rest of
This
the season.
year.
I'm
This
saying
year.
like just period, like the years and beyond. I mean, I guess it's because Matt Stafford beats out Mayfield in the competition. I feel like he's going to beat him out as long as the old line is playing at a relatively good level and you have pieces there. I would have to
some
think
merit
that's
to it though,
Stafford.
because there's been whispers like he might retire.
I've been hearing that too.
Plus, the injury's starting to catch up.
Yeah,
Then
I've been hearing
the
that
neck
too.
issue, and then
Yeah, that
saying
neck
that
ain't
he's
nothing
like
to play
having
with.
tingling and going down his leg.
Right.
That is
He
nothing
had
to
an
play
elbow
with.
issue earlier
Yeah.
this year.
That is
I think with Baker Mayfield, there is a lot he still needs to prove from a consistency standpoint. Like, look, if you ask me athletically, who do I want? I want Baker Mayfield, right? There's just things that he can do in the pocket and outside of the pocket that Matthew Stafford can't bring this team. And from an accuracy standpoint, the plays that he was making the other night, like, he was throwing the ball on the money, and he was only there a hot minute, 48 hours. You know, he just got off a plane 2 days before, and to have that chemistry already with the receivers, it looked like he's been there a while, and he was throwing to nobodies. You know what I mean? The only person relatively, in the lineup that he would throw to on a regular basis once he gets established is Van Jefferson. So I think he did well with the opportunity that he had, obviously leading that 98 game-winning drive. But from my perspective, we need to see more consistency out of Baker, because even when he was with the Browns, you know, he had that great year with OBJ and Jarvis where they went to the playoffs. But after that, it's just been inconsistent his whole career.
I do want to give him some love too. So that game, right? Mans came off the plane, picked up the playbook. They asked him plenty of times, like, yo, you don't have to play. You don't have to suit up. He decided to play anyway. The craziest thing I heard, right? So he had his cheat sheet. You know they only called one play off the wristband? And that one play they called, it was converted, but a flag took it back. Everything else was off of memory.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give Baker love for that. This man got everything on the playbook off of memory.
That is the one thing they say about him too. They say or they said it in the broadcast. Who knows how true this is? But he says he has a great memory. Like he can, remember plays and
I
things
believe
like
it.
that. I believe
His decision making is bad.
Yeah, true.
I'm
I believe that
I'm
too.
sure the issue isn't that he doesn't learn the playbook.
Yeah,
I think his decision making is bad.
but to your point though, that's Baker. Like he wants to be out there. He wants to play, and he's gonna go out there and give it his best shot, whether he ready or not.
He was ready for the opportunity. I mean, he asked for that trade. He asked for not trade to be released out of Carolina because it's a dumpster fire over there, and that makes sense. in a better situation with a better coach, a smarter coach, one of the smartest offensive minds in football, it could easily work out. And if it's an insurance policy. He's an insurance policy on Stafford. If Stafford walks away, he's an insurance policy, and he could be a bridge guy, or he could work out and be there long term. It's really hard to like put the bridge title on quarterbacks now, because as you can see with Geno was the bridge guy for the longest time, and now all of a sudden it looks like he's a real like franchise guy all of a sudden. So you just don't know how it's gonna pan out with the right coaching.
Gotta shout out his agent, because they asked for the release, and they went through it knowing, like, I think it was the Texans, it was the Russell Wilson, it was the Broncos, and it was the Bears, and they was like, we know they're not going to take us. We're not going to take Baker, so probably the Rams will take him, right? Waivers hit 4 o'clock on Tuesday. This man was already on a plane at 4:48 to LA.
That's funny.
Before it
smell
happened.
tampering. No.
They knew.
Before it happened, like, shout out to the agent of doing, like, nah, you're probably more than likely going to get picked up by the Rams. If not, we'll figure it out.
He's going to California either way, Rams or San Fran. So they probably got him on a plane to LA or to that area, to LAX regardless.
Like, shout out to your agent doing your history. Like, all right, let's get you out of Carolina, because no matter what, if he stayed in Carolina, that's a terrible situation all around.
Yeah.
LA is a way LA or San Fran.
Yeah.
Way more stable franchise.
Tougher competition, but
way better weapons.
Yep.
Because they got rid of McCaffrey. They got rid of Robbie Anderson. Ain't much going on in Carolina except the soul food.
They probably gonna get rid of DJ Moore at some point too.
At some point too.
To close the loop on that real quick though, this was a great move for both parties, right? Baker Mayfield, if he plays well, he'll hopefully have a few teams to choose from next season. We might see him with the Jets. Who knows, right? But if he does sign with a team next year, you know, the Rams get that compensatory pick back. So hopefully he does well.
The Jets situation's interesting.
Next cap
That's
facts.
interesting.
About what?
The quarterback. Mike White's not it.
You wasn't here on Monday.
Mike White's not it, bro.
He said Mike. I didn't post it yet, but he said Mike White is an Instagram doc.
And you guys aren't bad enough to get someone that's some of these
Mike
top
is
QBs in this year, Jeff. So who's your bridge guy next year if it's not Jimmy?
Yo, they gonna have to pick a trade for a quarterback.
It's gonna be Baker.
It's not gonna be.
It's gonna be Baker.
Baker probably wouldn't put himself
I don't
through
know
that
what
to
to
play
do,
in the
though.
New York market.
The Lamar thing is, I don't know how it's gonna work out. I think he's gonna get tagged and he'll.
Lamar, yeah, he's not going nowhere.
You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and then
And
Derek Carr
Rodgers
thing
ain't going
is-
nowhere.
Derek Carr thing is a real possibility. I do think that the Raiders could decide to move on. They have like the number 1 pick in the draft, or number 2 or 3, whatever.
You think Derek Carr and Green.
It would be he'd be the best quarterback they've had in like 10,
Facts.
15 years,
Facts.
20 years,
Without
my
a
entire
doubt.
life. He'd be the best quarterback they've had. That's the best quarterback they had in my entire life. They got Derek Carr. He's better than anybody else I've seen. Chad Pennington, Mark Sanchez. Who else do we have? Who else did you guys have?
Darnold.
Brett Favre for a little bit.
Geno.
Yeah, Brett for a little bit.
That was the
Brett,
worst part of his career.
Brett
Wasn't
Stevens
he still some money in New York
yeah,
too?
he was. Brett's a horrible human being. You know, they had him. Oh man.
Hold up.
Uh-oh.
Don't get me fired up. So I'll say something. You about to get me revved up.
Yo, next cap of facts. The Suns were justified to be upset at Zion's last-second dunk when the game was already won. Cap of facts.
Suns talk the most trash in the NBA.
I'm getting tired in general in all sports of these unwritten rules. I'm getting extremely tired of it. Like the Suns, one, as you said, talk way too much trash. Secondly, the game's over. It don't matter. Me
They're
dunking,
losing regardless.
exactly. Me dunking does what? It has nothing to do with it. And Zion, I appreciate what he said. He said, yo, yes. That was a little out of character. But the Suns got my boys out of here in the playoffs.
And they were talking cash about it too. They were talking crazy in that series.
CP3, D-Book,
Jay Crowder was on the main guy.
main guys with Jay Crowder out.
Listen, if they got anything at Zion to be mad about, it need to be that he's wearing that ugly, big old one hoop earring in his
Man, leave that guy alone, man.
But
People making too much fun of him. He's balling
He's
right now. He's
balling.
playing great
But-
basketball.
And like Pelicans were at home, you know what I'm saying? It's not like he did it in Phoenix, but at the same time, like, one, you talked about unwritten rules.
So
people do this. How many times have we talked about? We've talked about this on the show in the past with other teams. Like, play defense if you don't want him to do that.
They did.
That's
They
all.
didn't get mad.
Y'all walk in, like, because you know the game's over too. So you can't be mad at him if you're not playing defense.
Look, I understand the unspoken rules of it. I coaching, I've held guys back from doing stupid stuff like that, and I've had it happen where guys do that. They take shots in the game. We were winning. I've had that happen. I've been there, but and it does feel weird when it happens because you know you're not supposed to do it. Like, you just know. But in the NBA, when it's business oriented, when you guys are making millions of dollars and there's so much on the line when you guys losing the playoffs and so much emotion involved, really, it's a stupid thing to hold the line on.
It's a statement. I'm doing it for a reason. Like, it's not, to me, it's not that serious. And that whole unspoken rule needs to stop. Because if it was on the other shoes on the other foot, and the Suns is going, I'm guarantee you, Suns will or have, since they've been winning with Chris Paul there, have done something similar to that point, or have warranted that reaction for a team to be like, yo, F y'all, F the unwritten rules, I'm going to do this on purpose because how cash crazy they talk. Campaign. Yes, he's been playing better this season.
He talks a lot.
But that Joker talk, he was talking crazy to LeBron.
Yeah.
So imagine what he's saying to just regular dudes in the league.
What's even more crazy is how easy that windmill dunk was for Zion.
He does it all the time. It's like
but he does it with ease, as heavy as he is, or
That's what I'm saying,
as heavy as he was.
No, he's still heavy.
He's still heavy, but he's not nearly as heavy.
He's lost weight.
As he was.
He's slimmed down. He's slimmed down, but he's still. That's a big boy. That's a big boy.
He's gonna be big no matter what. It's just a matter of him not being too big.
Ain't no females manhandling him.
This nigga sound like he get thrashed around.
He can't never switch it up in the bedroom. He's curtains.
What you think some girl gonna try to Batista bomb this nigga in bed?
Hey yo.
We don't know what he into. He might like to get manhandled, but who manhandled him?
Who's like to get manhandled?
Hey, stop. we can talk about what you said was top 5.
Oh.
What's top 5?
Nah,
You said right over there when you said
this podcast.
Getting the nipples up top 5.
First of all,
it is not.
No, it
Getting
is.
nipples is top 5.
You see, you're some weird nigga, bro.
Getting nipples is top 5.
I'm telling you, it's top 5.
I ain't arguing with you.
I don't want to turn the podcast into something it's not by talking about them.
You already started.
No,
But
that's top 5. I don't care nobody say.
But
That's top 5.
nipple
God
foreplay is top.
Yo.
That's the way to go, bro.
Hey fellas, if y'all ain't never tried it,
Don't knock it till you
it's
try it.
not just.
Miles seems like he agreeing with niggas
Miles
too.
on Tinder right now swiping. He's like, who can give me some nipple foreplay? Look at him. He's like, swipe.
Chris, you missing out.
Yo,
Who missing out? I damn sure ain't missing out.
You ain't done it.
Who ain't done it?
You said it's not
So
top
my mom
5.
watching pie. Let me chill out, bro.
Post this shit and tag his mom.
Hey yo, nah.
Tag his mom and his dad.
Fuck out of here.
imagine your mom coming like, yeah, your dad know. That would be
See, now this shit definitely can't get posted. That's crazy.
He'll cut it. He'll gonna cut it up, bro.
Somebody gonna listen to this and hit us up like, yo.
My dad gonna comment,
that
yeah, that
segment-
shit top 5.
That's what got you here.
Yo. That's hilarious, bro.
Last Kappa Facts. Wembanyama will become a top 5 most dominant NBA player. Kappa Facts. By the way, that was sent to Nikki J. Jetton.
One of the Jatan kids.
I said it wrong. It's Jatan.
That's what I heard.
Top 5 dominant player. How many years we giving him to get to that? Because we talking about end of his career. We talking about beginning.
He's only 18 right now.
By the end of his career, he would be a top 5 dominant player.
I don't know.
By the end of his career, I would say yeah. If we said by the time he's 24, no.
How's he holding up in an 82 game season?
That's what my concern is, because we saw what's his name get injured by LeBron just breathing in his ear. What's his
Chet.
Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, Chet.
LeBron breathed by him and his foot broke. So they got the same body frame. Only thing that gives me hope is Bobo is the same exact body frame and he's just fine.
Bobo's coming into his own, and Kristaps Porzingis, after getting hurt early in his career, is playing some of his best basketball now. So there's certainly a chance.
There's some hope that he'll be able to last. It definitely is a concern though.
No, it's a real concern. I don't know. I mean, that body type, He's been so small.
Lasting though and becoming a top 5 dominant player, 2 different things.
Yeah.
Kristaps Porzingis, yeah, he's good, he's lasting, but he's not a top 5 dominant player.
He's not lasting. He's a very good player. He's a very good NBA player. He's just not. He's not an all-star when he was supposed to be.
Yeah, he's not dominant because a man is 7'4", 7'5", and has yet to average a 10 rebound season.
Mm.
I mean, that's never
That's
been his
disgusting.
thing. Yeah, he just.
But that's
shoots.
disgusting.
Yeah,
that's when he was on the Knicks, that used to irk my nerves. The Joker would have 25 and 4 boards.
Yeah.
Make any type.
That's
of
all
sense.
shooting bigs. Brook Lopez was the same way for years with the
But then,
Nets.
see, this is the thing where this is why I trade for Brook. I just love Brook Lopez in general because he is definitely one of the best rebranded athletes that we know. This man was on the Nets getting just straight buckets, all low post work. Came to the Bucks and now is a consistent 3-point shooter. And he's he's in the conversation to be on an all defensive team, averaging 3-4 blocks a game. When even in New Jersey, he was not playing no D. This Joker rebranded to the max.
He's playing winning basketball now. You went to a winning organization. You start to value things that actually lead to winning games, which is getting rebounds, blocking shots, like defense. Those things win games. Scoring points is cool and everything, but it doesn't always win you games. It really doesn't. In fact, I'd say it's like on the scale of things that matter the most, it's one of the things that matter the least, scoring. Which is crazy because most people don't agree with me, but when you have someone on your team who gets rebounds, plays defense, does all those little things, you're a lot more likely to win than you are if you have someone just shooting the ball every goddamn time they catch the ball.
The thing
it's
that's crazy too, I thought about this and y'all tell me what y'all think about this though. I think it shows though, I don't know if I go as far as race, but it does show something in the league that he got the opportunity to rebrand himself in this regard. Andre Drummond's been trying to shoot, for example, threes for the longest, and he's knocking some of them down in Chicago. But Andre Drummond was never given the opportunity to actually do what Brook Lopez did and like rebrand to change his game up. Andre Drummond for the longest and Dwight has seen that the NBA is going away from the dominant post up big. They need bigs to shoot threes, but nobody gave the opportunity for Dwight or Andre Drummond to actually shoot threes. Brook Lopez got the opportunity and he's shooting 6-7 threes a game.
And Brook Lopez was on a terrible team. That all happened under Kenny Atkinson. The reason why he's taking threes and making them is because of Kenny Atkinson. And he was on a team at the right time to be able to develop that skill and take it with him to his next stop. The Drummond situation, the Dwight situation, those guys were on teams that were constantly trying to win championships for most of the time they were in the NBA. There was no room for error. I can't have you jacking up a 3-pointer in a close game against whatever team, and I'm trying to get play for seeding or play for something bigger than this. So I think it's just a matter of situation. It just worked out really well for Brook Lopez because he was on that Nets team that was really, really bad. So there was room for error. There was like, okay, you can miss some threes, but
he
take
knocked
them.
him down. So then by the time he came to the Bucks, like it's proven.
The Lakers had him before that, didn't they? Didn't the Lakers have Brook Lopez for a little bit?
They ain't have him shooting no.
No, I always think about that. Like they've made so many mistakes, and that's one of them. Just letting him walk.
Yeah, I mean, so look,
because he was a good enough 3-point shooter when he was in the Nets. He was making shots towards the end of
Lakers
his
had
time.
Zubac at one point. And Zubac is. That's a whole other thing.
Lakers, bro.
New segment. We're gonna keep this going for the football season and the NBA season. Must be the money. We'll point out some games, some money lines, this, that, and third. We're gonna pick them and see what we do, what our record is, who was right, this, that, and the third. Funny enough, Vikings play the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
They're the underdogs.
The Vikings are the underdog in this game. The Lions are favored by 1.5 points.
Yep.
What are you taking? Are you taking the Lions 1.5?
Or it's like 1.5 now?
It's 1.5 now.
I'm taking the Lions because Lions are at home. Lions can score with the best of anybody in the league. They're getting some pieces back.
For those that don't understand, the Lions basically got to win by 2 points, right? By at least 2 points. They're favored by 2 points.
The Vikings have a hard time on defense this year, and both defenses aren't great. But I like the way the Lions are coached. Jameson Williams back in the lineup. Amon-Ra St. Brown healthy. They're getting some people back that DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams both healthy. This is going to be a complete team for the first time in a long time, and they're playing at home. And Jared Goff has been playing really good at home this year. So this is one of the highest scoring teams in the league too. You know, they can score with the best of them. So I'm taking the Lions.
I want to make sure I get the terminology right because you're the aficionado on betting on the show. So Chris is taking the Lions spread.
Yeah. So if they were to win by
2 points at least,
then they cover.
So he's taking the spread. You taking the spread or you taking the Vikings on the?
I don't know. I think I'm taking the Vikings as the underdog. I mean, they're a top 2 team in the NFC. You're giving them basically 2 points to cover. And the Lions have folded late in the game in the past month.
So they've been
winning.
But the Vikings,
They've been winning, but
for example, if the end of the game, Vikings hit a field goal, they cover the spread.
Yeah.
So you got the
but
Vikings
if they
spread.
win, they cover the spread.
Yeah, if they win, they.
I will say the Vikings record doesn't read like a 10-2 team.
Yo, I think we talking about the money line or the spread or the points. The thing that's funny is even people in Vegas.
That's
believe-
why it's so close because
do not believe in Vikings.
when you look at the Vikings games and what they won, yeah, they've been winning and I've been, praising Kirk, but at the end of the day, these haven't been dominant wins. They fell into some of these wins and they've gotten lucky at times, which is why the spread is so close. Their wins really or the record really reads like a 7-5 team. So I think I gotta go with the Lions.
Eagles at Giants. They got the Eagles winning by a touchdown.
I'm betting the house. I'm betting the state on the Eagles.
I'm taking the Giants. I think it's gonna be closer than that. They're not gonna lose by a whole touchdown.
No, Saquon might not play too, so
On that mind,
take-
He a game-
I'll
time
take the spread
decision.
with the Eagles.
I'm taking the
Eagles with the spread.
The Giants are clearly resting all their best players and to prepare for next weekend's game against the Washington
Commanders,
Commanders, which is going to basically decide who goes to the playoffs. So that's what they're doing.
But
Leonard Williams, Dory Jackson, all those guys. Dory Jackson could play. He's not going to play. They're resting all these guys for next weekend. So this is a wash. I mean, the Giants can lose by a touchdown. They're going to lose no matter what. They're going to lose. But it's 7 points even without Saquon. And it's interesting because it's a division game, like I said.
This isn't a must-win game for the Giants to kind of make sure that you solidify a playoff spot?
The way it works out is a 3-team race for 2 spots, and Washington and the Giants will be the last 2 teams fighting for one last spot in the playoff. The NFC's been so bad. So basically, the Seahawks are going to get in, the Giants are going to get the Giants, and then the Commanders. It's just those 3 teams fighting for those 3 spots. So the winner between the Washington and Cowboys are a lock. The Cowboys are a lock. The Giants.
It's really between Giants, Commanders.
Oh, you're saying after the Cowboys are already in?
Yeah, so it's a lot. But the Giants,
they said the percentages. The Cowboys are at 87% locked in. It's the Giants, Commanders, and Seattle was fighting for those last 2 spots.
Yeah, and really what's gonna happen is the winner between the Giants, because they tied, the winner of that Giants game next weekend on I got Flex Sunday Night Football. It's a playoff game. Yeah. The winner gets in. Loser, you're out. You're done. Start preparing for the draft. Start preparing for other stuff. So that's really what the Giants are preparing for. They're not worried about this week. It doesn't matter. This game does not matter. It's inconsequential. This game and the Colts game is big for the Giants. That's it.
Last one. Browns at Bengals. We're not talking about the spread, but we talking about points. The over-under is 46.5 points. What are you taking on that? The over or the under? In division game.
I might take the under.
Yeah, I took the under too.
46.5?
Yeah. Under.
I feel like Deshaun is still trying to
figure it out. Is
back.
that a home game for him?
Yeah, no.
Bengals
coming to Cincinnati. I'm taking the under. I'm not worried about the Bengals scoring points, but the Browns, yeah. I mean, after watching Deshaun last week, I think he'll be fine later in the season, and next year he'll be back to his normal self. But I think it's going to take him a few games to get back into a rhythm. The Bengals have no problem scoring more than 27 points pretty much every game. So.
Yeah, it's going to take some while because, one of the things that happened with Deshaun is they said he no longer can choose as a masseuse. So that might have been his mojo to actually play well. So
You never know, actually.
That might have been his mojo to play
You
well.
never know.
His pregame ritual got messed up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Houston women, and then Cleveland women. I mean, it's a big difference in masseuse right there, I think.
Greg said he go to Houston a lot. He said they're not as thick in Cleveland.
I never said that.
You ain't say that?
What? I never said.
The women aren't as thick in Cleveland.
I never said. I never been to Cleveland. How would I know that?
And they're not sun-kissed, you said.
I definitely never. Cleveland women.
Well, you see Drake hang out in Houston. He don't hang out in Cleveland, so
Cleveland women
might be some
Cleveland women like discharge brake oil fluid or something out there. It's
Yo,
weird.
if you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready. You do not gotta get ready. Bench Mob Ent, we out. Peace.